Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. I hope everyone is doing well. We are going into Aquarius season. Very exciting. Pluto is in Aquarius for the first time in something like 240 some odd years. So certainly lots of change, lots of interesting times coming up ahead, right? So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the dream that I had. I shared it with my members on Thursday, and now I'm going to share it with you. It's a dream that I have about tomorrow and about him and what's going to be happening. So make sure that I know that I am being seen and heard. And let me just say hi quickly to everybody. Kath, Palma, Amanda, Donna, Mary, Jenny, Diana, Barb, Stacy, Richard. Yes, happy Sunday. Perfect. Thank you, guys. We are getting ready for a snowstorm here. I think it could be a doozy up here for us, north of Boston. We will see. Of course, I do like to hype things up. And I just want to bring to everybody's attention before we start that I am doing a fundraiser for the Salem, Mass Cat Aid tonight at 7 p.m. right here in my channel, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. All the donations that you give, 100% will go to them, and she does amazing work for the cats here in Salem. What you can do is you can ask a question. I'll pull some cards and read on it. And the donations, I post them in the community tab at the end once I get the tally, and to let everybody know. And it's a great cause. So yeah, I'm going to be talking about the dream that I had, and I did share that on Thursday with the members, and I think it's interesting, one element, because I did talk about weather, if you remember, members, and we'll get into that. And if you haven't already, please hit like, subscribe, share if you feel inclined. Check out membership. It's robust. That playlist, there's like 24 classes for the Awaken Your Mind and above levels. And if you do want a reading, go to dianeaquarius.com. And I do want to give my condolences to Psychic Violetta. I did find out last night about her son passing. And so I am, just so sorry. I don't have any inside information, but that it's just heartbreaking. So, my sincerest condolences to her and her family. So if you remember in my 2025 predictions video, I said, there really wasn't going to be peace in the Mideast, and that hasn't changed. So I know there's a ceasefire and they're exchanging some, hostages and things like that. But remember what I said, it would all just be short-lived. And unfortunately, right? I mean, I think it's great for those people that, are getting their lives back and getting to return back to their homes. That's fantastic. But I do think come March, April, we're going to be talking about this all over again. Speaking of March, April, I will be sharing in a separate video my video that I think I'll call it, Beware the Ides of March. That was a vision that my guides had given to me to kind of give me a heads up and to share with all of you. I do think March is going to be a bit of a wild ride. So there is a rally today that, he is planning. I believe it starts at 4 p.m. Eastern. And what I was getting with that is there's something that has been changed. There is something different. There is something up with that. There's something wrong. And when I went into that energy, whatever it is they had planned has been greatly scaled back. So say that they were planning X, Y, and Z. Now maybe it's just X. Okay. So there's an element there that they were like, no, something is making us want to scale back. Now, we do know that tomorrow has been moved inside, right? I don't think it's because of the cold. I really don't. I mean, maybe that's my New England bias. I would say my husband and I, we have heated jackets. There's ways of dealing with the cold, but I think it has more to do with security and his health. And my attention is going right to his health. I feel like they are propping him up, they being like his people that surround him, that they're propping him up to just try to get him through the next 48 hours. And I think it's proving to be difficult. Okay. I think it's getting really, really tough. Just taking a look. Okay. I love it. Okay. I think it says Alden Pond. Cats are our overlords who have trained us well for millions of years. Yes, right? They just show up one day on your doorstep, you buy a litter box, you buy food, and yeah, that is just your role. That is what you do. That's actually how my sister got my cat, Annie, who has now, been given to me. About TikTok. So I have a lot of clients that are on TikTok, like they are creators. And I said to them, no, the band is going through. The band's going through. You need to make some kind of alternate plan. Now, what I will say is, I think it's going to come back with heavy restrictions. And so then you have to ask yourself where it's going to be changed, restricted. Do you want to be on that platform? But, and unfortunately, with my private consultations, I did tell them, you might want to come up with a plan B on that one. So over the next 10 days, I do think we're going to see something with TikTok. I do. I think we're going to hear a lot about immigration and deportation. I don't think we're going to see much action, but I think you're going to hear a lot of talk about this. I also think it's going to be extremely cold in the US, in places where maybe it's not normally this cold. Like I know it's winter, and winter's cold, but this feels excessively cold. So I think in the next 10 days, we're going to get cold like we haven't before. And I think you're going to see a lot of people in different places saying, wow, it's never been this cold before. This is brutal. And my advice always is to you guys that aren't used to dealing with the cold, heated blankets are amazing. My cat Annie has like a heated bed. We have a heated blanket on the bed. It can save you a lot in, heating the whole house, especially at night. Next 10 days. Okay. New international laws dealing with AI and social media. So there is something I think very international that's coming up, in particular with these regulations. And I think TikTok will probably fall into that category. That's what I'm getting. Tomorrow, I see mass protests. And if you see me looking down, I have everything written out here, and I am looking at my iPad here to see your comments. Mass protests. I really do think that. And I thought it was interesting because they had some big protests in Boston yesterday. And one of the reasons that they said that they were protesting was because they're not buying that he won the popular, what. I would agree. And they are protesting because of election integrity. So yeah, I don't think that's something that's going to go away. I do think the Queen of Wands did win this, and how it plays out remains to be seen. It's going to play out though, right? One way or another, this is going to play out. We are going to be watching this. I think we just need to, like I said before, observe, don't absorb, right? Take a deep breath. And as you know, thousands of his followers bought tickets to go tomorrow, but it's moved inside. And now these people that couldn't afford eggs, they're now out thousands of dollars, and they're asking for not just the price of the tickets back, but they're asking for the hotels and the airfare, which I do not see happening. So the other thing that I want to stress before I get into my dream and looking at the energy of tomorrow and him is I am feeling something much bigger coming our way, that we are like, okay, yeah, this whole political thing, not great, not loving all this craziness, but it's much bigger and it pulls our attention. Um, so let me just turn that off. And I think it's a couple of things. I do think there is a lot of stuff going back and forth between us and China. And the bird flu is here. It's here. If you live, I know in Massachusetts, I cannot speak for every state. Everybody's putting videos of all of the wild birds, the geese and smaller birds, bigger birds, all the videos of them just dead all over the place. So, and we already know that it has jumped to cows and is now jumped to humans, and the first American has passed from it. So I think we are going to be talking very much about the integrity of our food. Is our food okay? And are we safe? Are we going to be healthy? How contagious is this? And I think before you know it, we're going to be dealing with issues with China and issues with this illness. And it's going to be big. And I feel like we quickly get turned away from politics. But I would say we need to keep focused at the same time. We can multitask, right? We can do more than one thing at once. Diana, do I see the documents, case of Jack Smith report ever being released? No, I do not. Sylvan, another reason to go vegan. Yeah, but here's the funny thing too, because I am vegan, as you guys know, not necessarily because of health reasons, but just because I love animals. I am an animal communicator, right? It would be kind of weird to eat something that you can talk with. My guides have personally said to me that, and this is the first time, I know a lot of other people that are intuitive have said this, years ago with the pandemic, and they weren't correct, right? To stock up on the food back then. And I said, no, I mean, like, you may not be able to get this brand of cereal, but you'll be able to get that brand. And that's basically what happened. What I'm getting from my guides is, no, you need to stock up, Diane. And I'm like, wait, but I thought this was going to be more of a meat issue. And they're like, no, the integrity of the food is going to be affected. And so they're telling me to stock up because there's going to be issues with the actual food. There's something going to be quite wrong with it. And because it's going to snow, it always gets to my voice. For all of you that live in areas where it snows, you're not crazy when you get like a little dizzy and lightheaded and you can feel the scratchiness in your throat and your sinuses. It's the air pressure change. So being a good girl, drinking my water. But also too, remember that I said a long time ago that, because people always, if you say that you're vegan, some people get really angry. And then some people that are vegan are like, you need to say more. And I always kind of felt like I can't really win with the situation. But what I have always said, and what I will say, is that people will end up vegan. I do specialize in 20-year predictions. Ultimately, that's where we're heading. But I never saw some kind of massive protest. Just sort of like I've always seen the royal family just sort of dissipating. Once again, not a huge protest. It sort of seems like it's just a natural conclusion. Just what I see. Now, I did, before I came on, I picked up my Moonology deck by Yasmin Boland, and just to see what the energy is for tomorrow. And I was like, because I get some pretty good answers from this Moonology deck. And I'll tell you what I got. I got full moon in Capricorn, and it says, take a reality check for tomorrow, which I thought was interesting. It says this card has two sides to it, literally and metaphorically. If you've been worrying about something, the good news is that you shouldn't waste another moment worrying, as this won't help. Some things only happen once, and that can be really good news. If you're wondering about how something you're keen on is going to turn out, this card could be a sign that you've hit a roadblock. If you want to change that, you're going to need to put in extra effort with your manifestation work. So I thought that was interesting. And I think this is where we get to see the power of the collective. you know, if we, and I think this is part of the problem too, so many people just envisioned like horrible things, you know, around November, and then manifested this, and but they're still continuing to feed into the fear and the resistance. And yeah, no, this isn't about that. If you're resisting it, then you can't change. There's a time to resist. I totally agree. I don't think this is the moment. And I'm speaking in terms of energy. So I hope that makes sense to all of you. And the affirmation is everything is always working out in my favor. So I like that. And that'll be my 3-card pull at the end. So let me tell you about what I did see. TikTok is back already. Oh, I didn't hear that. But anyways, I mean, ultimately I do see them coming back, but it's going to be like heavily restricted. But anyways, so my dream. So I had a dream a few nights ago, Wednesday, and I shared this with my members Thursday night. And it was of tomorrow, of him there, you know, getting ready, hand on the Bible, you know, and a really strong wind came and blew him over, but he got back up, pretty resilient. And then like a bigger wind came, knocked him down. He had a harder time getting up, but he did. Third time, huge wind just came, knocked him down. And I was like, whew, okay, that was crazy. And I felt like he's out of breath. There's no energy. He's like, but there's pressure to get back up. Like there's people pressuring him, like, you gotta get up, you gotta get up. And so he does. He says, you know, so he has the hand going on. He says a few words. And what I heard was he has sealed his fate. And along comes like a steamroller, and it just rolled him, flattened him. And so with that, what I will say is I'm in agreement with the astrologers. I think maybe my timing might be a little different than some of them, but I do think there's going to be these issues that come up. In the next 10 days, there's going to be something with him, his well-being. If he makes it through that, I feel like there's another one, Ides of March. If he makes it through that one, there's another one in July. It's like he's not going to get a break because there's something about he has now sealed his fate. And that is that. So, you know, I think it's, you know, interesting. I don't know what to make of it. But I'm kind of like all of you where, you know, the veil is thinning. And so like, we're all having more and more dreams. And even people that normally, you know, don't remember their dreams are starting to remember their dreams. And so, you know, it is what it is. Let me just check the comments. Yes, heated blankets and throws on the sofas. Yes. Oh, did somebody else predict it? I don't know. Like I said, I try not to watch. I mean, I don't have the time to sit there and watch other YouTubers. Yes. Okay. So Alice says something that's very interesting. And that's why I'm making a separate video about this. She says, I woke up from deep sleep with Beware of the Ides of March in my head. I am having clients, members, viewers reach out to me saying, I never even heard of that. I didn't know anything about Shakespeare. I never read, you know, anything about Julius Caesar. I didn't know. But yet we're all getting this, you know, message. And some people had to look it up, and it's interesting. So this is a message that, you know, the other side is giving to us. And speaking of the other side, I had like a really unique experience. For those of you that's been following me, you know, I've been having our friends in the sky, which is really just our government, hanging out over us. But that did stop a few weeks ago. It was like for like a month. Logan Airport was diverting all the flights and whatnot so it could happen. And these things were huge. They weren't people's personal things. And so last night I saw 3 gigantic orbs, pure energy. It was like, they were like a whitish, goldish, greenish, gigantic, huge, huge, huge. So it's interesting. I guess I'll reiterate what I said in my predictions 2025 video, which is this is the year that we just keep looking up at the skies. There's going to be so much to see. So I'm going to do a few cards for the energy of tomorrow in DC, around that time that, you know, he will be doing his thing there. Let's see. Interesting. First card, 8 of Swords. Obstacle card, Knight of Cups. Outcome card, 6 of Cups. I am going to use my After Tarot to do one more. Actually, why don't I clarify Knight of Cups? Spirit, what is Knight of Cups? What do we need to know? And 6 of Cups, what do we need to know? Okay. Very interesting stuff here, guys. So 8 of Swords, the first card. So this is a card of anxiety, fear, feeling trapped, but you're really not. You know, those binds are loose. She can move forward. Her feet are free. But each one of those swords represents another anxiety, another fear. And I think that's where we're at right now. We are all on edge. When you look at the astrology, it's incredible. You know, I mean, a lot of it just looks unprecedented to me. I keep saying I want to live in precedented times. I'm sick of unprecedented times. So yeah, I think that's all of us, right? We are all feeling very stressed, very anxious. So do things that are grounding, do things that are good for yourself in the meantime. Now, the obstacles, Knight of Cups, when I clarified it, 4 of Swords. So Knight of Cups can be something to do with health because it is, you know, cups and whatnot. And 4 of Swords is certainly about health. So there is something, I do believe I am correct in saying that he is not well, that there is something wrong with his physical body. He is not healthy. Now, looking at the 6 of Cups, to me, the 6 of Cups, you know, I mean, 6s are nice in a lot of ways, right? They're nurturing and loving and kind. But 6 of Cups in general can oftentimes refer to a returning of something from the past, right? Something from the past. And look what came up when I clarified, 9 of Swords. So something from the past that brings us stress, worry, and anxiety. So we get both the 8 and the 9 of Swords. So the energy around that tells me, okay, yeah, people are stressed, people are worried. He is not well. We do not want a return of, you know, what he did before. Nobody wants that, right? And here's the thing, when I say nobody, and you're like, no, I do, I voted for him. You're only thinking that you want that. You're not thinking it through, okay? But nothing happens by accident, right? I don't think we live in chaos. But I also know that every time I do my cards, the Queen of Wands won. She won. I don't know what else to say. Let me take a sip and I will read on him tomorrow. Yes, Dina, I agree. They're just trying to get him over the finish line. He's not well. There's something like seriously wrong. One of the things that kind of caught my attention that they're doing for him, and this isn't like a conspiracy theory, this is something that they're actually doing for him, is they keep like this black pad near his feet. So his feet can't move and wobble. So that tells me one of two things. Now, of course, I'm a dementia practitioner, so you probably know where my mind is going to right away, right? When you take antipsychotics, it makes your feet, right? Oftentimes, especially when you're older, right? You get the little things with your feet. Second thought is his gait is off, and that makes me feel neurological. So yeah, there is something very much going on. Okay. So, all right. So how is he tomorrow? What do we need to know about him tomorrow? And if you haven't, please, hit the like button. It helps the algorithm in ways that you don't even understand. Leave a comment. Check out memberships. Hit the join button. Check things out. Look at the playlists. Maybe this could be the year that you learn tarot, learn mediumship, attend the live channelings and the live readings that I do for people. And it's great. Okay. 4 of Wands. Obstacle, 2 of Swords. Outcome, King of Swords. 9 of Swords. Let's do a little clarifying here. I mean, the 4 of Wands to me is pretty clear. That's him anticipating returning to the White House, right? Wanting to live that reality. So let's see. Why is the 2 of Swords our obstacle? That's the card of having a difficult time making a decision. Cards are jumpy on that one. Oh, weird. Okay, so the obstacle is 2 of Swords. And look, the obstacle again is the 4 of Swords. So the card of sickness. And I'm looking at him. And so, okay, he is not well. I am telling you, this man is not well. And what do we need to know about the outcome? Okay. I got to be delicate. Okay. I mean, for those of you that can read tarot, you got to know what this means. Okay. King of Swords with the 9 of Swords. First of all, tells me he is really stressed and worried about a legal issue, right? The King of Swords, he's holding that sword upright. It's a sword of truth and justice. It's double-sided. It's fair. It's impartial. Okay. He's worried about that. His legal cases are not done, by the way. 3 of Swords. So I do think he's really sick. I will leave it at that. I think you can fill in the blanks. Let's see. So yeah, that is one of the benefits of being in membership, right? You guys got all this info earlier. Yeah, Mia says I can feel his loss of life force. I would agree. I just keep seeing him like shrink and shrink and shrink and shrink and shrink, and he just goes. But here's what I don't understand. I don't see some big rise of JD. Wouldn't that be the natural progression? And so when I do his cards, they're not these victorious, triumphant cards of him moving forward with anything. So clearly something is very off here. And so here's the thing. So I do feel the Queen of Wands won. And so I think it's going to play out the way it's going to play out. But I do think tomorrow is going to happen probably as we're thinking. Now, what I will say on top of that is there could be some shocks and surprises, but I think it's probably more due to protests and his health. And I would say it's not a good day to really be out in the big crowds. Watch yourself, right? You want to be careful of yourself. So let's finish this up with a 3-card pull, the Moonology Manifestation deck here. I do like this deck. I think it can be quite insightful. Yeah, I see a lot of people saying TikTok is back. TikTok is back. Take a breath. Remember what I just said. Do you want to be on something that's going to end up that heavily restricted? It's not going to be the same. It could be maybe right now, but something about the next 10 days or so, it's really going to change. And I would kind of back off. You know, if I was a content creator or somebody that just really loves social media, I would rethink that one. Okay. You know, because like I told my clients that are, you know, TikTok creators, it's like, no, I mean, I can see that, you know, SCOTUS is going to do their thing. Let's see what happens. But I always get these cards of restriction, like it doesn't grow anymore. And there's going to be all kinds of issues. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be. So, all right, my friends, let's finish up just with a message from the universe. And, you know, which one do you feel pulled to? Don't censor it. Just go with your gut. 1, 2, or 3. Okay, here we go. First card, full moon in Leo. Go wild. Yeah, so this is the time, you know, tap into that Leo energy, right? Leos like to be front and center. They're brave, they're courageous, right? Think of that lion energy. I like Leos. I actually get along really well with Leos. But go wild. Do things that you enjoy, your sacral chakra, right? Things that bring you pleasure and joy. Number 2, last quarter moon in Libra, make time for self-love. Yeah, I like that. And I will tell you, my guides have been telling me to practice a lot of self-care. I feel like I've, you know, made so many cups of herbal tea and taken beautiful baths and done like all these like wonderful things. And I started painting again and just doing things that make me happy. And I think that's what we need to do right now. And number 3, last quarter moon in Virgo, attend to the details. So if there is something that you need to pay attention to, you know, like say you're coming up with your plans for this year, whether it's to go on vacation, start a business, maybe this is the year that you get into a relationship. Pay attention to the details, make up some kind of a plan. How are you going to go about this? What are you going to do? You want to buy a house. Okay, where? How are you going to save the money? Pay attention to the details. But I like Virgo because Virgo gets things done. So, all right, my friends, it has been a pleasure. Don't forget, tune in tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, to help contribute to that fundraiser for the Salem Mass Cat Aid. She is so wonderful. She is a one-woman show. She needs money to get vaccines for all these kittens and whatnot. She doesn't have help. She doesn't, you know, she is on her own. But she does wonderful, wonderful work. So if you can come tonight, even if it's just a couple of dollars, and I give 100%, you know, to whatever charity I work with each month. So, all right, everybody, it's been a pleasure. See you later.